Two separate issues. I apologise for interrupting, but two vitally important issues. One, the issue of the Catholics' position on sex and on birth control, but also the issue of whether the money the Catholic Church has is equally spread amongst those who are part of the Church. Father Joseph in Nairobi, do you feel that the money within the Catholic Church in Kenya is properly shared amongst everyone within the Church?
Yes, and above all, whatever money is contributed, we share it with the other churches, and once in a year we also collect some money to help the Jerusalem Church, where those sites where Jesus was born, to maintain them. So it is the accountability that we are called to as a priest, that whatever money has been coming in from the donors may be used well, and that we may also be faithful to being good managers and good accountants in management of the church property and other needs and whatever has been entrusted to us. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Father Joseph, you're in Kenya. We have Maureen in New York, Anna Maria in Italy, Mike and Layla here in the World Have Your Say studio in London. Mike, you're itching to get in.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think Father Joseph's hit on something very important word there, accountability. I think that's one of the main problems with the Church being perceived as a force for good or not. It's not transparent enough. It's not authentic enough. You know, for example, the voice of over half the population, the women in the Church, should be heard and should be taking part in the governance of the Church. And I think then people outside have a lot more time and see a lot more good going on in the Church if people are represented fairly and can be accountable.
Yeah, see, I think, being myself, in the Catholic Church, it comes down to a lot of tradition. And I think that if the Catholic Church kind of wants to move forward and get more people involved, instead of cutting out women and not letting them be priests, then they have to either modernise. They need to, instead of keeping the tradition...
Would you like to be a priest?
If it was possible, then...
It's not possible, is it?
No, so...
Hopefully in your lifetime
Would you like it to be possible, then?
See, yeah, I would like it to be possible. I'd like it to be fair. You know, we've moved on, we've progressed into equality, and it seems like we're in the olden days and we're still stuck.
If you're just turning on, you're watching the BBC's World Have Your Say. We're discussing whether the Catholic Church is a force for good. And if that sounds like a familiar question, it's because we asked the same question during the BBC World News' Intelligence Squared debate of the weekend. So many people responded to the issue, we've decided to carry it on today's World Have Your Say. In fact, it's been going on all week on the World Have Your Say blog. Sheetal can tell us more of your messages that have come in.
Jim blogged us after watching the debate, and he's in Hawaii, and he says, as an ex-Catholic who was educated in Catholic schools, I found the debate to reveal this church is not a force for good in the world. Ravichandran got in touch from India to say, though there are several deeds committed in the past of which the Catholic Church should have expressed regret, one cannot forget the good work done by the Church in the field of education, especially in India. And Eileen blogged us from the United States saying, I was raised a Catholic but lost my faith. The straw that broke the camel's back was watching a documentary about a couple living in a mud hut in South America, when the woman said, yes, we had 12 children, but God is good because 4 of them died. You can send us your comments too. Go to worldhaveyoursay.com.
Sheetal, thank you very much indeed. I wonder if one issue that we could pick up on is this issue of conscience. If you watch the Intelligence Squared debate, Anne Widdecombe, a British MP, said quite clearly the 10 Commandments remain the foundation of how we should live. Father Joseph in Nairobi said the Catholic Church is the conscience of our society. Michael, do you feel that the Catholic Church is providing a foundation for all of us for how we should live?
I think you've hit the most important word of all, Ros, that you just said, is conscience. The Church has always taught primacy of conscience, that no matter what is taught by anybody, and including the Church, your individual informed conscience is the final say. So if you in your heart of hearts believe something, you stick to that with your informed conscience, and the Church should be making that clear. Guys, here is an ideal. This is our ideal. If we can't get to that ideal, that's fine. You have to stick to what you believe. Contraception is a perfect example. Most Catholics actually practice contraception because their own consciences tell them, this is right for me, and that is perfectly right. And the Church should be saying, yes, that is right. Your conscience is paramount.
Anna Maria in Rome, do you feel that the Catholic Church provides all Italians with a moral conscience?
No, not really. No, because well, I'm not born. I wasn't born in Italy, so I come from a less Catholic background. Okay, so I was born in Australia, but the topic is quite, it's an individual thing. I mean, I believe in the Ten Commandments. You know, you do what you consider is the right thing to do, and you trust yourself, and whether you do the right or the wrong thing, you know. Okay.
But Anna-Maria, that's
So
fascinating to hear you say that while you don't consider yourself a practicing Catholic, the Ten Commandments still provide a lead for you, a guide for
Because
you.
I know
Maureen,
wrong
in New
from- I
York,
know-
do you think that's true of you? Do you think that the Catholic Church does provide some sort of moral framework for us all?
Are you speaking to me?
Yeah, Maureen, where do you stand on that?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, actually, I think quite the contrary. I was brought up very strictly. I believed very strictly. My family was Opus Dei, which is a group that goes back to the Templars. And we were taught that our consciences did not matter and that we had to listen to the Pope. And basically the latest Pope Benedict has really gone back, doing away with most of what John the 23rd's council tried to improve.
Yes.
So I see the Church going back.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more with you, Maureen. And I think we've yet to see Vatican II, as John the 23rd started. We've yet to see that actually begin. I think the Church needs a huge reformation.
Absolutely.
The lid needs to be blown off. And I think the Church lost a
Absolutely.
huge opportunity in the sex abuse crisis to say, guys, we've got this really wrong. We need to start again. Let's have your views. Let's have lots of input. Let's have a reformation.
Well, all five of you, let me bring in the person who was going to be the sixth person up on the screen. We've had a problem with the studio line, the TV studio line, but we can speak to Tom in Sao Paulo now, who's on the phone. Tom, thank you for speaking to us. Where do you stand on this? Do you think the Catholic Church is a force for good in Brazil?
Oh, well, I'm a religious man, and I believe firmly in my faith. Yes, as such, I do think that the Catholic Church is a force for good, especially in a country such as Brazil. I think that the good that the Catholic Church brings to us, despite the secular aspect of the Church having its very human shortcomings, is multi-leveled. I think that there is practical good in terms of educational programs and of humanitarian programs.
Yeah.
And I do think that there is social good done by the Church on delivered by its very firm stands on ethics of human relations. And I do think that there's an even greater benefit brought by the Church, which is spiritual good. It is the Church's never-ending endeavor to deliver comforts, spiritual comforts, to those of us who hunger for the things that the world cannot give us.